Welcome, and like I said, I'm going to be posting a few of these videos to try to help us wrap up Unit 4, Monetary Policy, because ultimately the goal is to be done with monetary policy and money in banking by the end of spring break, and then we can move on to the last few things we have to learn, Unit 5 and a couple things in Unit 6, and then be ready for the AP test in May. So I just wanted to review money market really quick. This shouldn't take all that long, and I said I'll probably pop back later today and post some stuff on monetary policy. So the money market was the new graph you learned in this unit. And remember, it looks like this. Okay. As you can see, you've got a money demand curve and a money supply curve, plus the quantity of money on the x-axis and interest rates on the y-axis. So really quick, review demand for money. So remember, money demand has two components, transaction demand and asset demand. And when you're looking at the Kahoot, and you'll see this on the test too, these are some of the questions that should be giveaways. They should be some of the easiest ones on the test. So let's start with transaction demand, where transaction demand is money we're using to buy things. In other words, it functions as a medium of exchange, as in, I'm going to use this money when I get out of quarantine to buy Buffalo Wild Wings, or I'm going to use this money when I get out of quarantine to buy a new Porsche or something like that. That's transaction demand. So medium of exchange, and when we're looking categories of money, that all goes into M1. Okay, M1, remember, is currency, checks, liquid forms of money. Okay, so that's one component of demand for money. The other component is asset demand. Asset demand is money that we hold. Okay, not necessarily in savings accounts because it's something a little different, but we're talking about holding on to money as an asset. So in this case, we're talking about store of value when it comes to the function. And it varies inversely with interest rates. And Mr. Clifford shared information about that, just the idea that when interest rates are high, it doesn't make sense to, it makes more sense to hold on to money, which is why money demand, way up here, there we go. Okay, but when interest rates are low, we're more likely to hold it, to spend it. Okay, transaction demand. And money supply curve, on the other hand, with that vertical, that's because it's provided by the Fed. Okay, so the money supply is determined by the Fed, which has been the main focus of this unit, what the Fed does. And like I said, we're going to explore monetary policy in a later video. So right now, asset demand for money, is money as a store of value, transaction demand, money is a medium of exchange, spending money, holding on to money, saving money, things like that. What you notice in this graph is that anytime any of these curves change, interest rates change. And this came up on the first FRQs for this unit last week. Okay, it had to do with changes in money demand. Changes in money demand, three things. C, I, and G. So you got to write that on here for money demand. Anything that changes consumer spending, business spending, aka investment, or government spending, G, that is going to affect money demand. And so one of the things, or one of the questions had to do with government spending. If government spends more money, well, like right now, as it tries to bail out the economy with a $2 trillion stimulus, that means the government's going to be demanding a lot more money. When it does that, as you can see, so government demand for money went up. That increases demand for money. Okay, and when money demand goes up, see what happens to interest rates? We go from I1 to I2. That increases interest rates. If there's ever a time, same thing, if the government demands less money, or consumers are spending less, or businesses are spending less, that would be demand for money going down, in which case interest rates would go down. You have to draw graphs like this on the second FRQ. I wanted to just cover that really quick with the money market, and then we're going to look at next time, probably later this afternoon, what happens when money supply changes, because that's been the main focus of this unit, is when money supply changes, how does that affect interest rates? How does the Fed do all that? Pretty important stuff in the big picture when it comes to understanding economics and understanding what's going to be on the AP tests. Okay, so see you later today.